business trip. So it was just me and my 6-month-old daughter, Emma. At around 2 a.m., I woke up to static coming from the baby monitor on my nightstand. The screen showed Emma asleep in her crib. Nothing unusual. Then I noticed something odd in the corner of the monitor. A number. CH2. I frowned. We only had one camera. Thinking I'd accidentally pressed a button, I hit the channel switch. The screen changed. At first, I couldn't understand what I was seeing. It was another nursery. Same wallpaper, same crib, same stuffed rabbit, and a baby sleeping inside. I sat up. The image quality was terrible, but it looked almost identical to Emma's room. I figured the monitor had picked up interference from a neighbor's device. Then the baby in the other crib opened its eyes. Not crying. Not moving. Just staring directly at the camera. I switched back to channel 1. Emma was asleep. I switched back. The other baby was still staring. I felt a knot form in my stomach. Then a voice crackled through the speaker. A man's voice, whispering, "Don't switch back." The words were so quiet, I almost convinced myself I'd imagined them. I stared at the monitor. The baby continued looking into the lens. The voice came again. This time clearer. "Please." I should have turned the monitor off. Instead, I asked, "Who's there?" A few seconds of static. Then, "She's behind you." I nearly launched myself out of bed. I spun around. Nothing. Empty room. Heart pounding, I looked back at the monitor. The nursery on channel 2 was empty. The crib was empty. The baby was gone. Then I heard movement through the speaker. Soft footsteps. Coming from somewhere inside that room. A shadow crossed the camera. Tall. Too tall. The figure stopped beside the crib. The speaker hissed. And then the man screamed. A raw, desperate scream cut short by a wet, choking sound. The feed went black. I sat frozen. The monitor automatically switched back to channel 1. Emma was still asleep. But there was something different. Someone was standing beside her crib. Just outside the camera's focus. Watching her. Watching me. I grabbed a flashlight and sprinted to the nursery. When I burst through the door, the room was empty. Emma was safe. The rabbit sat in the corner. Everything normal. I almost laughed from relief. Then I noticed something tucked beneath the rabbit. A photograph, old and yellowed. It showed a nursery. Same wallpaper, same crib. And on the back, written in faded ink, Channel 2, 1998. We couldn't save our daughter. Maybe you'll save yours. I never found Channel 2 again. But every few months, usually around 2 a.m., the monitor crackles with static. And from somewhere inside it, I hear a man whisper, "Is she still alive?"